What's up? What's up? What's up, my people? My people. My people. My people. My people. We back in effect. You hear me? One time for the mind. We here one time for the mind, player. But we here to do a little talking, man. You know what I mean? We ain't talking about nobody because we don't do that. Because we don't do that. We just talk facts. You know what I mean? We talk facts. If you part of the facts, then you might consider yourself being talked about. But that's truly not really talked about. It's just that you put yourself in a position to be part of the fact about what we talk about. So, with that being said, you know what I mean? We gonna get on it like this. I want to talk about a couple of things real quick. I ain't want to stay on too long. I'm a man on right now. I had to say a little something, man, because I be busy, man, and I don't be getting the time to get up here and get my thoughts out when they be in my head. You know what I mean? Because I be working and shit, doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, but the first thing I want to talk about real quick is this situation here, this TO situation. That's my first thing I want to talk about. It's gonna be a nice and quick one, but you know, hold on 1 second. What's up, my people? We just talk real quick. You know what I mean? Express a couple of things off your mind. So yeah, but back what I was saying is that you know, this is how I feel about it, man. When it comes to the first thing I'm talking about is this TO situation. I'm gonna get on some other stuff. My first thing I'm talking about is this TO situation. You know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of people online now are talking about, you know, TO this and TO that and all this. I don't care about none of that, to be honest with you, because it's a sport of boxing. Your personal feelings you should keep in the house. When you bring your personal feelings outside, this type of things that happen. You know what I mean? So you have a fight in your city. You know what I mean? And this will go down, man. You know, it's see Batman right here. Let me buy to you. You out of here. You can't rep this no more. You tripping. Got my man right here. You have to go, player. You gotta get up out of here. But anyway, you know, back to the fact. On some serious stuff, man. Let's speak about Shakur. So on this live right now, I got this little clip up here. I mean, a little picture up here that I present boxes. I could pay them to like slick animals and things like that. So I do a little things, you know. It's like this right here, you know. And chat, y'all can tell me your pick. You know, y'all can tell me your pick, but look at this right here, right? Now these is my picks. This is my picks. On the top is the animals. These are some of the smartest animals in the world. Some of the slickest, smartest, ferocious, you know, and things like that, and hunters and stuff like that. So I picked five Black American fighters that I feel compares to these animals. This is just my personal opinion. You know, it's not for the chat. Y'all can look at this diagram and put in the comments what y'all feel. But me personally, you know, I got the chimpanzee, which is the smartest animal in the world. You know, I got a border collie, which is the smartest dog in the world. The mongoose is the master of reflexes, and the monitor lizard is the fastest land lizard and the most efficient hunter. And then you got the honey badger, 70 cent per age, and never give up. So, you know, I matched them to styles of boxing. And that's how I be coming up with my, because, you know, if you listen to just boxing got a bunch of bullshit with it. And they're going to be telling you a whole bunch of stuff. Like they tell you some of these guys over here, the runners and all this. But this is what I call the zero posse. This is the zero posse. Yep, the zero posse. I call them the zero posse. You understand me? And I can go on and on with the Black American fight. I could put 5 more up here and have a whole bunch of, I could have 10 animals on top with 10 down on the bottom. But this is my zero posse. And I got some more to put up there, but I just picked 5. I picked 5 ones I feel is great. So I matched them to these animals based on their styles in the ring. And that's what I say. You know what I mean? So I match Crawford to a honey badger. Because that's just what he do. He ain't gonna turn down. He always want to smoke. You know, he walking on the road. He always want it. You know, I got my man Ward as a monitor lizard. You know what I mean? Because Ward is just impeccable. He find ways to win. He just impeccable. That's just Ward. You know, these type of fighters, they say they don't respect, but you got to respect this because it's a science of boxing. So I don't let today's time tell me what different to think about in boxing. You know what I mean? You can't tell me that. You know, the science of boxing is hit and don't get hit. You understand what I'm saying? And people like to see knockouts now and all that. That's cool. I'm not going to knock people saying a knockout. That's on you. Rock out. You know, do your thug dizzle. But I like the sport of boxing, you know, and people, I tell people all the time, I like stoppages. I like UDs. You know what I mean? I like decisions. And then I like a knockout. I don't like a knockout first because that's not boxing for me. You know, boxing is you boxing. If you fighting, then you can go knock somebody out and get rid of them and go ahead. But boxing is a sport. It's a sweet science. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And you can't let, you know, we don't let people change the NBA already. So I'm trying to keep boxing. How you say keep boxing alive again? I'm trying to keep it real again. Real. Let's get boxing back the way it was, man. You know. And so that's how I see it, man. So I see a border collie as my man dad, smartest dog in the world. Seriously, by far Shakur's mongoose, by far. But you know, Floyd got to get the chimpanzee. He got to get the smartest animal in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, we reflect to his record, you can tell by that. But so when it comes down to stuff like this, man, I just want to do a quick live, just show people, man, like, stay focused, man. It's a lot of propaganda that go on in boxing because it's a real business now that make a lot of money, you know what I mean, for their peoples. And it's good. Hold on, my bad. Now you see it. It's good, Jack. It's good, Jack. Yeah, but you said you air. I don't understand that, Jack. I don't understand what that means. What that mean, Jack? I don't understand that. You said you air. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying with the boxers, man. Because a lot of the time you got a lot of these channels. Well, not really channels. Well, you got a lot of yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yes, a whole lot of channels because channels now is like you might as well just dealt with the damn Fox News dealing with these channels today because you know these channels is going on propaganda. They go on narratives. So I try to keep it away from the narrative, keep it to boxing. You know what I mean? Because boxing is about getting inside the ring. It's about winning. These people got problems with people that actually win. I don't understand it. I can understand you fighting, you know, you fighting crazy and then you lose and you supposed to be good. But if you fighting good and you win, I don't understand that with people, man. They trying to change the science of boxing. You can't change the science of boxing. It is what it is. You know, boxing is a sweet science. Now there's different ways that you can box and get in the ring and fight. If you're a brawler, if you're a sweet science fighter, if you're you know, that's all depends on you. That all depends on you. You can find a cab driver and put him in the ring. You know what I mean? If he a sensible dude and he got a little sense, he might fight like, you know, some of these people up here. If you're a brawler and things like that, you might fight certain ways. But the point is about winning at the end of the day. Because this is a competitive competition and it's deadly. It's about winning. And the fight right here with Tio and Shakur. And I told people, I say, yo, this is like a mongoose versus snake. This is 100% fact. I got videos up here about this, man. So it's just that certain things. If you know boxing, like if you really know boxing, if you're looking at boxing, and you ain't looking at all the propaganda, you will actually see what's really going on. But if you look at the propaganda, if you listen to what they talking about, you know, sometimes I don't even watch fights and listen to the commentary because the commentary is part of the propaganda. I remember before, you used to, when you was younger, you used to think that it was a joke. But you listen to these guys that get steered wrong, you know, people will run you into a brick wall in all aspects of life. Don't get it wrong. Don't think just because you're talking boxing, everybody's going to keep it real. Don't get it wrong. Boxing is a cultural, political sport. And I say this all the time. It's a cultural, political sport. You know what I mean? If you want to know about somebody and some culture shit, talk boxing. I mean, because you can't talk no other sport that's like boxing. There's no other sport like boxing. Damn near every other sport you gotta like get into it. And UFC and you know and things like that. Those is trends. You know what I mean? Boxing been here and ain't going nowhere. It's gonna always be here because boxing is based on frustration. You know, that's what it's based on, frustration. You're mad, you box. You want to hit something, you want to break something. So UFC and slapping one and all that, that's all fine. But, you know, when they talking about T.O. and they talking about, yo, you know, they feel bad for T.O. Some people, I don't feel nowhere near bad for T.O. I don't feel nowhere near bad for no boxers. This is not a feeling sport. This is a real sport. This is not about feelings. You go in this ring by yourself. This is the most dangerous sport in the world. So the feelings, you got to get out. You got to be dead serious when you get in here. So all that playing in today's time, and these boxers in today's time, they get caught up with the celebrity part of the boxing. They get caught up with the fame part. They don't stay on their game no more. You know what I mean? Sometimes they come in good. They come in good. You know what I mean? But they don't stay on their game no more. Like it's a fact though. You know what I mean? So, and this is why when I talk on my channel, I don't care. When I'm talking, I don't care because boxing is a sweet science. That's what boxing is. Now, in today's time, you can make it about knockouts. You can make it about power. You can do all that. You're going to continuously lose because certain boxers, like Shakur Stevenson, only deals with the sweet science of boxing. You know, these boxers is not like other boxers. They're not going to come in here and you're going to throw me off my game. Everybody's just not like that. Since majority of the people is like that in today's time, they want everybody to be like that. But that's just not the way it is. You know, everybody's just not like that. So the T.O., you need to get away from Black American fighters. You need to, you know, get your shit together. I don't know. They say, yo, T.O. ain't look like T.O. T.O. did look like T.O. He was just in there with an opponent that made him look like he wasn't T.O. That's just a fact. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, Shakur, you better than what people say. There's nothing. I don't know why people think it's so wrong to just say, yo, Shakur, you're a good fighter. I'm not a 100% Shakur fan, but I'm a 100% boxing fan. So if you're a good fighter, then you're a good fighter. It's just that simple, you know what I mean? So people like the narrative today, and the narrative is, you know, you gotta like this, you gotta like that, you gotta like who I like, you gotta like what my channel like. No, like who you wanna like. You know what I mean? It's cool. You can like boxers. I like boxing. You know what I mean? And some people that's not a difference, but it's a big difference to me. That boxing and a boxer. A boxer is one person. That's like a player on the NBA, like a player, an NBA player, not an NBA association. So I like boxing, and that's where I get my glory at, man. You know what I mean? So I don't got no sympathy for T.O. I don't got no sympathy. If Shakur wouldn't got his ass kicked, I wouldn't got no sympathy for him. That means Shakur, but he fought the way he fought him because I'm quite sure every boxer that walked in his ring feels that they at 100. And if you don't feel you're at 100, then it's your business for getting in the ring. That's your business. That ain't the people business, because the people pay you and support you and watch your channels and do all this stuff prior to the fight, thinking you on your game, because that's what you got the people thinking. But then you get in the ring and you say you're not on your game. Now, sometimes you on your game. It's just your opponent. This is somebody that you just can't beat, and it's okay. This is not. I believe Tio could beat somebody else if he fights somebody else, because they're not gonna fight him like Shakur. You know what I mean? And so when I get back to my diagram right here, you get what I'm saying? This is what I say about these fighters. Every one of these fighters got hated on for some apparent reason. Every one of them, no matter what. Listen, you got all styles up here, but it don't matter because they Black American. It don't matter. You got a Honey Badger right here. You got Boyd. You got these are all zeros. All these are zeros. You got Dev, Shakur. I can go on and on, but as of right now, it's just weird. Look at these great fighters up here. Black American fighters, for some apparent reason, they all got zeros and they all get hated on. But I'm gonna make another chart. I didn't make it now, but I'm gonna make another chart tomorrow, and I'm gonna put a bunch of other kind of heroes that everybody love up here. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna be Black American, and we're just gonna wonder. We're gonna see. We're gonna add up the losses, and they might. I guarantee the 5 I put up here tomorrow be in the double digits of losses. And these guys is praised. I'm talking about praise as faces of boxing. These are all of it's just a manufactured thing, man. You know, I call the United States the United Corporations of America because that's what it is. United Corporations of America. If you ain't owning nothing, ain't got no corporations, nothing happening in boxing. If you're not planning on, if you don't want to get cloned or you don't want to get manufactured, you're gonna get hated on. You gotta remember, look at these people. These are the ones that didn't go. They didn't go with they didn't go with the flow. These are the ones that was hated on. They ain't go with the flow. They ain't go with the flow. Facts, 100%. Some of them went solo. They just ain't go with the regular, and they got hated on. But you got to look at it for what it really is. This the zero posse. For real, this the zero posse. That's what I call them, the zero gang. Yep. They got all the gangs out here now, right? This is the zero gang. Yes, the zero gang. We got 42-0. Boy was 34-0. With Dev is 35 or 30 something like that, 0. Shakur 25-0, 50-0. That's crazy. I could put 5 more Black American fighters up here and get some more zeros. This is the zero A squad. I got a zero B squad too. You know what I'm saying? I got a zero B squad. Facts, 100%. I got a zero B squad, a zero A squad. Come on, man. I can go all day long with my Black American fighters because this is why I love boxing. And I like other fighters. I just don't like the way people represent to other fighters. That's what I do. And they ask you, yo, why Black Americans in America hate on Black American fighters? It's a simple answer. And people listen to this question and it make it seem like it's some big racist thing going on. It's completely simple. And I'm showing you a part of the answer right here. Because if I was in the UK, I don't have 5, 10 fighters that's got zeros that I can love. If I was in the Philippines, I don't have 5 fighters that I can love or, and argue with people in the Philippines about this one being better than that one. It's just not like that. I can be in Mexico and I can sit there and argue. It's just not like that. Some of they're good, but they're only going to praise one. See, but in America, let's flip it and let's look at it a different way. When it comes to Black American fighters, we have a bunch of zeros. We got a bunch of people that we can like. That is the reason why we argue with each other and say we don't like Adrian Broner, but we like Mayweather when they was at their prime, because Adrian Broner was a zero too until he lost. You get what I'm saying? So this is the real reason of why they say Black Americans don't support the Black American fighters. No, we do support them. We just have a choice of a bunch of them to support. That's why, people say like me. People say, yo, Boots ain't doing shit for the game, but I like Crawford. I like Andre Ward. See, we got a choice, but this is why it got race fans. It's simple logic. You can clip that. It's simple. It's not hard to, if you just look at it. No other country have more than one fighter that they can praise. This is why these countries be behind one fighter. Mayweather showed you this years ago. He was fighting all Mexicans and all Philippines because he know that once he picked one of them to fight the great Black American, is nothing but money. That's fucking simple. That's business 101. So it wasn't really no big thing for Mayweather to fight a Black American because they wanted him to lose anyway. So him to lose against a Black American is not going to generate as much as it generate if he lose the Pacquiao and let another country get the whole thing. Why you think Canelo and Crawford was so big? It wasn't even for no it wasn't for nothing. It was just a big event. It was really more of a culture fight. That's what it really was, a culture fight. It really was a culture clash. If you think I'm lying, look at the videos of the people going crazy after he lost. If you don't think that it was a culture clash, if you think it was a boxing match, then cool. That's that narrative shit. I knew from the beginning it was a culture clash. That is the king of Mexico. That is the pride of Mexico when it comes to boxing. Until we see a Mexican NBA player that's like a LeBron or like what is considered LeBron. I just said that. Don't get him a LeBron. I'm not a LeBron fan, but listen, I get that right. But considered that way, then you'll see that. But inside boxing, when people got their foot inside something and they can actually go with it and roll with it to be the best of it. And boxing is one of those sports where literally people will be behind one champion. You see the Indian dude, they made a fake champion. A clearly fake champion had a belt. Ain't that a bit? They're gonna tell me there ain't no bullshit in boxing. An Indian dude that 20-0 and had a belt. And it was all felonious. But I'm going crazy. I hear that hot shit. This is what I be telling you about the bullshit in boxing. So, it's some real, what I mean? If you let the box people tell you, man, the boy got a belt. How the hell that happened? A real belt. Okay. And then you got the sanctioning bodies. I don't even feel like getting on them. Like seriously, these are some like boxing thugs or boxing. I don't know who they think they is. They like some boxing thugs. They think they can just take money from people or take their belt. That's some mafia shit. That ain't no boxing. That ain't business. You gonna tell me to pay you to represent you? But in any retail business that I know, people will pay the face to be the face of the company. They just did that to do tenderism. They just shitted him out a whole bunch of money because he's the face of the company. So that's normal. But when it comes to boxing with sanctioning bodies, this is some wild shit, man. I don't care what nobody say. This is some wild shit. When you look at it with a different set of lenses, you'll be like, oh yeah, they crazy. Because me personally, I would just, if I was a boxer, I would just kick your ass and get the belt. Depending on the beginning of my career, depending on my path, if I wanted to get, if I wanted to unify or if I wanted to come undisputed, y'all might hold the belt and pay the sanctioning body. But my plan to see the way they flowing with these belts and the way they got it going on. This is why it's making sense now. A lot of these motherfuckers let this shit even just play out like this. It's making sense to me now because the sanctioning body's got to be a part of the. They got to have a hand in there some kind of way because they will sit there and let Jamal Charlo and like Canelo, they let the Charlo brothers and Canelo hold their belts for 2 years. You know what I mean? And then for some reason now, because this thing is about money, so money turn over real fast. You know what I mean? So all this old fast shit with these high payments, with these fights, these high payments, sanctioning bodies will start losing money because the fighters is only fighting once a year. The ones that make sense, the ones that got belts. I ain't seen nobody with a belt fight in 2 years. I mean, twice in a year yet, in a minute. Not nobody with no belt. I seen fight one time a year. If we get that one time every 16 months, if they got the belt, you had Hitchison was sitting over there for a minute. He was just holding his belt like he just wanted to keep it in his pocket. And he keep asking why people want to fight me because you got a belt, stupid. What do you mean why people want to fight you? What are you talking about? Good that. I don't understand that. Why you think people want to fight you? It's like you driving down a car in the hood with a Bentley and ask you why people looking at you because you got a fucking Bentley, stupid. Like, what do you mean? Why we looking at you? You driving a Bentley. We ain't see one of them ever. Not last year, 2 years. We've never seen one of them. So when you run around with a belt, that's like in the boxing, people who don't have a belt and who had a belt. They want that belt. You are like you. So that's retarded to even ask a dumb question like that about, why you want to fight you. You know what I mean? So, and this is the whole purpose of T.O. ducking all Black American fighters. Like, he's slick. I mean, well, we know you talk about them and you talk about them bullshitting, but you don't fight them. And this is the reason why you don't fight them. And this is a clear reason. This is just boxing. It's not personal. It's boxing. Two motherfuckers get in the ring. I don't care what they was told outside. I don't care who was their trainer. I don't care who came in their corner. None of that matters. What matters is when you get in this ring, if you can't reciprocate that shit that they taught you in this ring and apply it in this ring, then it's over for you, period. Because I can reciprocate my shit and bring it in the ring, and you already knew that. You knew what you was going into. You knew what you was getting into. So any slippages, any playing, all that flipping on the stage, and all that, I always said T.O. is doing something on the stage to try to get Shakur to get this fight disqualified. I've never in my life, I've been watching boxing for a minute. I've never in my life seen somebody directly the way T.O. did it. It was like, with your private parts in your mouth, the way it just was said. I mean, it's been some crazy shit said on media coverages. We get that. I've been through Tyson era and all that, so we understand that. But it's just the way he said it and his calm demeanor. Like, he wasn't trying to. People like, yo, T.O. won that. He got Shakur out of his skin. What are you talking? We're talking about men here, man. And another man, like, you to a private part. It's not getting you out your skin. You got to check that. That's something that you have to check. Now, you could have checked it like Shakur checked it. He didn't get out. He got out of his skin. Shakur would have ran over there and started fighting. They had to do all that. He walked up on him because if you would have said that again in my face, I probably would have smacked the shit out of you. It depends. But, people got their daughters and stuff like that. They media coverages. And today's time is not safe to bring your daughter. You bring your daughter to a media conference today, they'll call you stupid because certain things are going to media conference. Like, they want me to believe that boxing is about knocking people out, and that's not boxing. You would never make me believe that boxing is about knocking people out. I'm not doing that because it's not. Boxing is about the sweet science of boxing. That's what boxing is. It will always be that. It will never change. Now, you can come in here as certain type of boxers and do certain things, you know what I mean, and in boxing, but when you get in there with the skillful boxer, you will understand what boxing is. And I tried to explain to them. I say it over and over and over again. There's two things. One is power. It gets on my nerve when people are like, yo, he got too much power, or he ain't got no power, this and that. Listen, boxing, the sweet science. If your glove touch the person's face, touch the person's body, if it touch anywhere they counterpoint at, it never said it have to be at a certain pressure. Never said that. This is why pillow-fisted people like Shakur, I call him the mongoose, Stevenson, this is why he wins. This is because he got the sweet science of boxing. All he got to do is just ding you up and ding you up. Shakur fight you in the ring for the judges. You have to understand something. He is so skillful. He know that he can fight for the judges. He don't have to fight for the crowd. He don't got to sit there and look nice and nice. He don't got to do that. He gonna get the same win by whipping your ass and making you look like you not who you say you was. That is Shakur mission. That's what Shakur do. Crawford comes in there to break your will. Period. That's what they do. If you look at these fighters for who they are and don't look at it for the narrative that everybody's talking about, the scared, the running, the no, Shakur fight you for the judges. Just look at it at different lens. When Shakur come in the ring, he can talk shit to you all day in a press conference, tell you he gonna knock you out, he gonna do all that. He is wired different. When he get in that ring, he knows what he's fighting for. He got trauma. Shakur got trauma from the Olympics. He got trauma. He got real serious trauma. And people mix it up like, yo, he's scared. It's not being scared. If he was scared, he won't get in the ring. Don't mix it up. Stop with the narrative shit. He's not scared. He has trauma from not losing in the Olympics, from getting robbed in the Olympics. And he know that he's better than that. So people gotta stop mixing it up. And this is why he's technical, because he know these judges are fuck you. So he fight for the judges. If you listen to the conference when he's talking to Mike, you listen to talk, he said, I don't care about that. I want the judges to see what's going on. This is why he's so clear and concise in why he fighting. But yo, he boring. He's not boring at all. You know what he actually is? He's what you can't do as a boxer, because you can't focus that much. So you will call it boring. Yeah, it's definitely not boring, because if you went to boxing school, this is what they'd be teaching you. They would, no matter what name they put it in front of, they'd be teaching you a Shakur Stevenson style. Hit and don't get hit. That is the sweet science of boxing. So all the boxers that came up and get in the ring and come up in the game and decide they want to brawl and, bowl people over or do things in that nature, that's fine. You can actually win that way. That's fine. But when you get into the ring with somebody skillful, you're gonna have to understand that a lot of that shit don't play. It just don't play in this field. It just don't. So that's all I'm saying, man. So you can be mad at people that win. That's like somebody played the lotto, right? And got, kids, mothers and all that. So, the typical 80-90% of people that play games like that would normally put birthdays and gotta get numbers. So if you got 5 kids, okay, you think your kids bring you so much luck, you'll put all these birthdays up there. That's just a compatible thing with nature, that people make themselves feel good. I'm gonna put my 5 kids' name on a lotto, and if it come out, then I know my kids are special. I put it, you know what I mean? But that's a thing to your imagination. That's not things how really go. If you put some numbers up there and you hit the lotto, it doesn't matter how you do it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't matter if you put your kid's name up there, if you put some random names up there, if you let it auto pick. The point is you won the lotto, and somebody else can't get this money. This money is gone because it's allocated to you now. So whoever's into this challenge can't win. So when it comes to boxing and they talk all this shit about, Shakur can't fight and, Andre Ward, you got to remember, I'm speaking about Shakur, but I can talk about all 5 of them: Mayweather, Shakur, Dev, Andre Ward. They said the same thing about everybody. And people still goes with the narrative and say, yo, goddamn, everybody say this, but they not. Those is cash rules. It's obvious to a duck. If you calling Crawford, Ward, Dev, Shakur, and Mayweather not who they supposed to be, these are zeros. This is a zero posse. This is boxing. So it's not like they had 3 fights. You got some people out here. You got people that Reynoso can't. They got 7 motherfuckers that pop for PEDs, and they all 7, if I believe it, and stop me if I'm wrong, is all either fought since then or fighting again for another belt. Let me say that again. You got 7 people in one camp that pop for PEDs, and all of them, if I could be slightly wrong, but majority of them, well, way more than past the majority. I think like a 90% fought or still fighting for a belt. That's like me having a felony, and then I want to go and apply for the police job just because I caught my felony prior to me applying. So it just don't mean nothing. But in boxing, it don't mean nothing. It's the same thing, because you can get a PED and have a title fight. Facts, 100%, 100%, 100%. They can even let you drive in New York City with a Batman car for real, for real. A PED candidate. No, listen. I'm not talking about like uh A test, B test. No, Pat felt all that. Straight up felt all that. Listen, if we talk about a different PED candidate, yo, you got 7 PED candidates in one camp. Yo, if that would have been a black camp, the feds would have ran in there. They would have, the SWAT would have bust the door down and been looking for the pills, looking for the machine, looking for the chemist. They would have locked everybody up. Fact, 100% facts. Can you imagine if Bomac or Derek James or Bozy Innes? Can you imagine? Just imagine. Come on, all right. Because you got to start imagining shit, because this is what they go on. They go on imagination. They tell you their imagination. They be telling you a bunch of bullshit. So what I'm saying is, imagine Boots and all this brothers. Bam. Who the girl? Bozy got the girl. Sade. Imagine all of them. All of them. Pop. Man, get the fuck out of here. You crazy. Yo, what you think the internet will be about? What you think we'll be talking about for the Bozy won't be able to, Bozy, Bomac, Derek James, they won't be able to eat a sandwich without saying there's some PEDs in there. Bozy himself will go to jail. He'll be fired as a trainer. Yo, you gotta really look at this, yo, because I'm not tripping. I'm not bugging out, man. I didn't make any of this up. Yo, 7 people in one camp. Fact, 100% fact. 7 people in one camp, ain't nothing happened. 7 people in one camp, and one of those people fought Crawford, and they was questioning Crawford about PEDs when Canelo is a proven fact for PEDs, a proven fact. Now, he beat it in court. They say he beat it with the B sample and went to court and did all that stuff there. But when it comes down to him and Crawford, Canelo is a proven fact of anybody that's even affiliated with PEDs. That's just, it is what it is. They ain't saying that you did it on purpose. They ain't saying none of that. But you is affiliated with it. That's like me getting pulled over in a car with me and my man, and there's one gun with 2 people. Okay, 9 out of 10. If it's his gun and he dropped it on the floor because it's my car, it's a situation. We're in a pickle right now. We got to understand what the people are going to say. They're going to separate us, and it all depends on what this guy's going to say. Is he going to go by the law, or is he going to go by the truth? You understand what I'm saying? Because the law says if the gun is in the car and it's my car, then it's my gun. But the truth says if it's your gun and the police pull us over and you dropped it in the car because you know the law. So this is how the media and this side of this boxing shit be trying to play with you and make you believe some shit that is not true. They do it all day long, man. Have you ever been considered a witness of a crime and the police came down there and they tried to get this guy to go to jail and you sitting there, you didn't want to be a witness? You didn't see how they be trying to coerce you into being a witness? And you be like, yo, what's up, man? I'm good, man. What's up? Are you sure? I know I'm good. Anyway, that's how boxing is, man. You got to look at this boxing shit in a different lens. I'm telling you, if you're looking at it in the lens that you're looking at it in, you is going to be lost in a sauce. And I'm only here. This is my channel. This is what we do. I'm only here. You call me the cleaner. I'm trying to clean out all the bullshit that this boxing be putting in the people's head, because this is how we, get so much rhetoric, so many casual fans. These people like boxers instead of boxing. I'm trying to get people to like boxing again, like boxing. If you get in that ring for 12 rounds and you win, now if you're a special kind of boxer, okay, let me give you a good example. T.O. Shakur came up from 135 to 140. Everybody said T.O. going to do all this because he got these old ass accolades, and everybody with the narrative thinking that T.O. who fought Cambosis and Loma is a T.O. today. T.O. been ducking Black American fighters. It's a fact. If you don't believe me, just Google it and look at his last fights. If I'm going crazy, however, That's why when Tio went in the ring with Loma, he thought he was gonna be the man after he beat Loma. No, sorry, Tio. I'm sorry, but in sports period, if you don't beat a black American in any sport that a black American is in, you're not gonna be considered great. Because 9 out of 10, he's either the best or top 3, top 2. 9 out of 10, there's a black American up there. And we can talk about any sport. If you put us in joust, I guarantee we be there too. Karate, I'm trying to tell you, this is a fact. But they may hide certain things, but it's definitely a fact. I mean, look at the sports that we love. Football is a funny kind of sport to me. Football got those helmets on, so they be kind of funny. You gotta watch people with helmets on. I just want people to know that. You gotta watch people with helmets on, man. You never know, man. It's like wearing a mask. You understand what I'm saying? We don't know if that's Tom Brady out there throwing those passes with those helmets on. I'm just fucking around. But anyway, that's how they go to what. But when it comes to boxing, it's culture political. And that's just what boxing is. That's what it was bred on. That's what it was built on. And this is why there is segments of boxing when you hear people talk and they be like, oh, you got a UK style of fighting. Oh, you got the Mexican style of fighting. See, people let words just slip past like it was like that. No, it wasn't like that. It is like that. What do you mean was? It is like that. You know what I mean? You got the black American style. I used to be telling a lot of foreign fighters, if you want to be great, you got to get a black American trainer. No, fact, 100%. Because you need to know this style of fighting in order to win. That's why when you see a certain any other race other than black fight, move around and stuff like that, it amuses you. You like, oh shit. If you think that I'm lying, right? Y'all think I'm lying. Everybody say, you be tripping, I be tripping. Word of mother. Nobody knew about Mazimov. Mazimov had 13 fights. The hell is you talking about? 13 fights. He fought a man that y'all knew and hated on. That had damn near 38 fights. Y'all hated on him, but y'all considered Mazimov so good just because he could move like a black American fighter. That was it. It wasn't because he didn't do anything for anybody to be saying that he can even compare with Crawford. It was hate versus culture, political boxing. That's what that fight there was about. You seen somebody that can move in the ring and switch up and said, oh, he's gonna be a whole problem for Crawford, a whole problem. But in retrospect, you have the black community say Boots to give Crawford a problem or Crawford to give Boots a problem. See, it's funny when they get black on black. That's what they really want. They want that black on black. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, though. That's when it comes to boxing. This is what boxing is. So if you don't believe this, you can just sit back and look at it with a clear mind. But a lot of people is casuals. They came in the game as a casual. Literally came in the game as a casual. They don't know their ass from their elbow. Facts. They don't know their ass from their elbow. If the person that brought them in the house to watch the fight as a casual, it could have been anybody up there that won. And they'd be like, that's the best fighter. Because they see him win. This world is about, that's what this world is about. It's about followers, subscribers. They've been on this shit for a minute, man. So when you come into boxing, and boxing is one of those sports now, there's so many casuals that's inside boxing. Do you know why? You know why so many casuals inside boxing? I can give you the answer right now. For real. The reason why so many casuals is involved with boxing is because the boxers is involved with the casuals. The boxers think that they celebrities now. The boxers is the ones running around. They think they R&B singers. They running around. It was never like this before. Boxers was just appraised as champs before. You never seen Ali. All that started from Mayweather with the money. So now they needed the money and they wanted to go out to the clubs and to the strippers and all that. Boxers, whatever they did, they used to do it in the house. Because they know they was boxing. They used to do it in the house. You see, every now and then you'll see them in the club, doing what they do, but they do that shit in the house. Now they think they celebrities. So now they mixed up in a whole different mindset. So they out shaking their ass, this and that, get a belt, lose it. This is what it's about. This is why so many casuals in boxing today. Fact, 100%. If you think about it in a different lens and be like, let me see. Back in the days, Sugar Ray, we talking about casuals that don't remember this stuff. So this is new to them. So they don't know about how the relationships was the fans with the boxers. They don't know about the relationships with Ali, with the boxers. I mean, with the fans. They don't know this stuff. They don't know about the relationships with Sugar. They don't know this stuff. They just don't. They started learning this when Mayweather started connecting with the fans, with the money. You gotta understand, he mixed it right into the hood. So you got a couple of dollars now, people in there start talking about they want to be Mayweather now. You never heard this before. You never heard people wearing chains and shit and doing all that shit talking about want to be like Ali, because Ali ain't do that. You never heard that with Sugar Ray, because they didn't do that. This is something new. If you got to look at it in a different lens, and then you'll see, if you try to look at it in a different lens, you'll be like, damn, you got a point there, man. Because if you ever seen boxers do it before, then you understand it would be a trend, but it's not a trend. When Mayweather started promoting his money, he started going over here, being with the celebrity, going in here, being in the Bentley, he's doing everything that DDs do. Everything. The whole persona. The whole culture of it, without that. The fights, the argues, the beefs, everything. Showing the money, the chains, talking, everything that you can imagine. The places, throwing the money to the strippers, doing every characteristics of the DDs and everything that's going on in the hood. And this is what connected it. And so you start watching Mayweather. Mayweather had to retire. You already connected. And you see what everybody else is doing after that. First thing they do is get chains and cars and start to look at the boxers today. Unless I'm going crazy, just look at them. And look at what go on. And after that, see, Mayweather was the blueprint. He did it literally for a reason. They not doing it for a reason. They doing it for the season. That's why they crash out. Why you think Tank and all? Why did they all crash out? I'm telling y'all. All right, bro. You see the crowd. You see the crew. Y'all can't put this together, man. They lucky they ain't committing crimes, because the police had them in Rico. They will all go to jail for the rest of their life. They was committing crimes. I swear to God. But they doing some legit dumb shit. So it's just some legit dumb shit that the police will let you do because you killing yourself. So when Broner, there's all a crew at one time. Broner, Tank, Mayweather. Y'all never looked at it like this. Hit your saying, peep game. Peep game. Who fell out first? Broner and Mayweather. And who was the prodigy? Who was the little kid when all this was going on? Like the little kid in the house, and you see your mom and your pops argue. You see all that shit. And you come outside and you don't say shit. You don't say shit. All that shit is smothered. It's all smothered, and you know so much shit in your head as just sitting as a person just in a toxic area, and you hearing all this, but you in this place of learning. So you in a place of discipline. So you hearing shit and you seeing it. So you hanging out, and this is what happens with like a kid that got a good mother and a good father, right? Check thing, peep game. A good moms and good pops. So they end up splitting up. You hear all the fighting and all the bullshit. You hear all that. But they end up splitting up. So when they split up, you torn. You don't know who you want to be when you want to go to your moms or your pops, because you love both of them. Think about Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather. How cool he was. The same shit. And like I said, the same little effect is you can see it kick in. If you look at Adrian Broner and Floyd, you be like, yo, this nigga ain't lying. For real, this is why they couldn't connect after a certain while. Because it's two people with the same character with a different interest. That's what we call a conflict of interest. Inside of the building, inside of the same company. This is what's going on. There's a conflict of interest. They wanted the same goal, but they had a different way to get there. So the marketing team, which was their second character, their alter ego, the ones that bring the money in, they had two different ways of doing it. Floyd was doing it this way for this. Adrian Broner was doing it because you looked at Floyd like that. That's why he was doing it. He wasn't doing it because he was trying to create his own entity. He said, shit, Floyd doing it, looking at Floyd like that. I'm good like Floyd. Shit, I could do what he do, and I'm gonna get that attention like that. But since Floyd is a blueprint and an innovator of this type of thing, this new way of getting money in boxing, no one knows this. Nobody did this. You ain't have no white man. None of them couldn't give you the blueprint. Nobody. Floyd did this shit on the fly. I watched him. I was here every step of the way. Took all the scrutiny. He did all that. Now, you got Broner and Floyd, right? They start clashing. It's typical, normal things. People start clashing when money come in the same house. You know what I mean? Two people that start getting a couple of dollars of the same money where they get enough money where you can't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? This is where it started happening. So all the laughs and jokes about all your laughs and jokes, I'm starting to look at I'm your equal. So you're not as funny no more. You know, this is like everyday shit that go on in the hood. They go on in business. So you're not as funny because it's about positioning. And everything in life is about positioning. You got to put yourself in a certain position to get to the next step. So when you get to a certain position and you feel that this person can hold me down, you start to typically get these little cat arguments like Floyd and Broner. Now, remember, they got a baby in the house. They got Tank in the house. They got a baby. They hear all this stuff. So the baby like both of them. So when Floyd and Broner split, right? Let's look at it like this. So let's rewind a little back. Let's go back a little bit. You remember they split? You know, Floyd and Tank was still on Floyd joint. This is just me and my perception of how I'm seeing things from the outside. You know how you say fair disclaimer. I ain't saying this is just my prediction. So now, I truly believe, for me, from just seeing it and seeing the actions, that's what's going on. You know, Broner and Floyd split. Tank was still on, you know, his little contract, so he had to, you know, deal with Floyd. But whenever he got to be on his own, he did his own thing. And I believe that he picked Broner over Floyd. And I believe that's what put the icing on the cake for Floyd. That's just me. I could be bugging, but that's just me. And that's why I feel Floyd completely turned this whole back on Broner and Javante, other than business. That's just how I see it. That's just, you know, you clip that. That's just how I see it. That's how I believe it. And I'm just gonna always go with that, man, because I will be pissed off too if my interest went with my op now in dancing in videos and, you know, talking shit to me. You know, at the end of the day, I created that. So when it comes to that, I can understand this situation with that. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but what they showed on the media and what they showed on these tele-live TVs and all that, and I have to tell my lie based on these lies, this is the lie that I'm coming up with. This is how I'm going to see it, because I really couldn't see it no other way. I couldn't sit there and be like, oh, nah. I see when, I believe that when Deontay went over there with Broner and that was his man, and he was said up there and all that, I think that's when Floyd, you know, that's like one of those 50 Cent things with his son. If we noticed that with Floyd with 50, so they got the same kind of tactics. You know, 50 taught Floyd how to troll. Why do you think Floyd trolls so good? He trolled good after fucking 50. Man, 50 is the #1 troller. Everybody should know this. When they split up, if you notice, Floyd started doing the shit 50 did, the coldest troll Floyd did since me knowing this guy being in the boxing coming up is the shit he did to Roy Jones. He just had his back turned. I said, yo, that was a cold 50 move. That's 100% 50 101. So, but you know, back to this little bookhead, man, this little card head, man. I want you to look at this card, man, and really see if y'all can understand what I'm saying. But the boxing world is a bunch of bullshit, man. And I just want everybody to, you know, learn what you learn, and you know, you can't even do no research, no real research like that, because the majority of shit is bullshit. So you got to see what you see in the ring, and that's why I say I go by in the ring. Certain things that you say, I try to analyze it, but I see in, you know, 5-10 fights, you still got your 0. You know what I mean? And you're not ducking no fights. So I still keep my little standards of how I do my little, like you came to the interview for a resume. I got my little standards of questions that I ask and things that I look for and what I'm gonna see. And after I see certain things, you can't really tell me nothing because it be a lot of BS, man. Like they would tell you some shit like Crawford ain't got no record, no resume. They tell you some shit like Andre Ward was scared to fight Sergio. It's just retarded shit, and he beat him twice. And then they tell you shit like Canelo didn't duck him. Canelo didn't duck Demetrius Andre. They tell you all this type of shit, and when we know for a fact that they get ducking motherfuckers to the day. You know what I mean? You know, they tell you shit like Dev can't fight. Dev this, Dev that. Dev been undisputed and all this type of shit. They said all this after undisputation. Yo, this is crazy. You got somebody pay that's 2 times. They said Shakur is a runner. And nobody can show you a video of Shakur running. Why is nobody putting a video up there with Shakur running? They always screaming at De Los Santos when the man told you he had a messed up hand, whether it was real or not. He gave you a reason of why he was moving around. And anybody else, you'll go for it. But not with Shakur. That's called greatness. And Mayweather, you know what I mean? Hated on him his whole career. Half his career, for sure. And still couldn't win because you're worried about everything but while you're in the ring. You're worried about how to fight opposed to worry about winning the fight. That got to be the craziest shit in the world. So you telling me if you was my trainer and my manager and I went in there and you trained me, right? You trained me for 10 years. My record is 27-0. And you telling me I'm not listening to you when I go into the ring. You still telling me I'm not listening. And I won every fight. But you ain't throw this and you ain't do that and this and that and such. I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, if you train me and if I go in there and don't do what you do, I have to do it in some kind of form of nature because you training me to win and I'm winning. So if you can't correlate that, if you want me to go in there and start doing that, I might start losing. I might got your knowledge in my head and apply it the way I apply it in the ring. And that's why I say I only go by what goes by in the ring because you can be told any fucking thing. I know your mama told you in your house, go downstairs and such. You get on the elevator and you done forgot that shit. You doing some other shit. You know what I mean? Get your ass kicked. Then I tell you such. You went over there with your friend and was playing when you supposed to go get this first and bring it back upstairs and then go back outside. But you got sidetracked. And this is what happened in boxing. You can be told anything. Nobody cares about that. You cannot fight for this nigga in the ring. I don't care. I gotta get off that notion, man. That's why you can't be surprised if somebody loses. I'm gonna tell you one thing about this ring. I don't care what you did outside this motherfucker. In camp, doesn't matter. This ring is a snitch. It's the biggest snitch in the goddamn world. It's gonna show everything that you did in your camp when you get in this ring. I will promise you that. I will promise you that. And they say, yo, no, don't, because T.O., this and that. No. It's going to show you that you didn't train for Shakur Stevenson. You was training for T.O. Lopez. You know what I mean? Because you think you athletic. And I keep trying to tell these people, athleticism only applies to people with no skills. And it takes athleticism, takes stamina. A lot. Tell me somebody that you know that's athletic that don't run a lot of stamina. So skills preserve stamina, just in case you know. Why you think skillful people don't have to run around and do much as athletic people have to do? Jordan wasn't the most athletic motherfucker in the world. He was athletic, but he wasn't the most athletic on the court. But I tell you one thing, he was the most skillful on the court. You get what I'm saying? You told me they said Jordan ain't got no bag, he ain't have to have one. He didn't have to have a bag. Why? Athletic people got to have bags. Jordan is skilled. He don't have to have a bag. He know precision. It preserve all that. This is a fact. Why you think people like Crawford and Mayweather and Shakur, they can go 15 rounds, Ward, Haynes, they can go 15, 18 rounds because they don't preserve a lot of stamina based on their fight style. That's fucking 101, y'all. Come on, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out, man. Oster40, man. Good talking, my G's. Love y'all, man. Like cook food player. Stay up, stay strong, man, and don't be with the narrative, man. You know, you got to look at what's going on in the ring, man, from now on. Think in the ring, then out the ring. Not out the ring, in the ring. In the ring, then out the ring. All right? Peace it out. Oster40. I'm out.
You're not like me. How'd you see that? First time I met you, said to myself, this young man can do anything he wants. That's the biggest curse a man can have. A curse. I have no choice. I do what I am. But you could do anything. You could be anything.